This PTO drop box is from CNH Industrial, and it was supposed to be on like a Steiger quad track. They've actually updated it, so now there's a newer style. This is the older generation, but it always had oil flow continuously through it. It ran through the whole system. There was a port up here that would pour oil down through it, and then this port here would suck it back out and it'd return through the system. And anyways, well, we talked to our friends at Case IH and said, is it possible if we don't cycle oil through that and just plug it, the ports, and just have a quarter of it full of oil or so, a third of it? Will it be fine? And they said, well, yeah, I guess for intermediate uses, we're not going to be running this thing for 10, 20, 30 minutes at a time. It'll just be run for a few minutes, off, run for a few minutes, off. So it shouldn't get hot. So that's what we're going to do. But we got to figure out how to block these ports. So Leg Arms found this piece. It matches up to the port on the side here. The problem is the threads are different than those. And that's threaded. I don't really want that threaded. I want that threaded so I can put my bolts to bolt it in this way. So I'm going to take this unit, I'm going to drill out those threads so that these slide right through. I might have to machine down these heads a little bit so that it fits tight against there to go in. I also found a reducer and then this plug with an O-ring, and that's what we'll use. So this will go on the side like this. You'll fill this full until oil comes out just like an axle. Tighten it up. And then at the top here, problem is with this kind of system is we need a, oh boy, I just lost it. We need a breather. And this is kind of an oddball metric size threads, and I'm trying to find a breather that fits that. Well, I think I might have found one on the internet, but I hate buying stuff and then a week and a half later you find out it's the wrong thing, and then you got to figure out how to send it back, and that's just the process. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill a hole through the center of this plug, and I'm going to take the $6 axle breather, and I am going to stick it in the hole and glue it in there. And it's going to work great. And that'll be the breather for up top here. So the oil level will be right about there, and that should get this thing going. So let's get this done. I think that'll work, but I do need to turn the heads down on this. It's just a little bit too wide to fit in that block. So let's lathe it and make sure we got clearance. Didn't quite get it perfectly true at the center, but you guys are gonna look at that, so. That'll work though. We'll screw that right up top there, and that'll be a breather. And then I'll finish assembling that piece once the paint's done drying. Beautiful. Yeah, let's put some oil in it. All right, she's full of some Hytran. Can't wait for it to work.
Dash is coming along pretty good. Looking really good, actually. This morning, I didn't get at the shop and do what I needed to do here because I had some other stuff I had to take care of, which we did get it taken care of. Now I'm back at it, which means steering column. I have to shorten the steering column, it's too long. I knew that when we bought this thing, it's not a big deal, I've done it before. So this is what I got going on. This right here has little tiny teeth on it, like a gear almost. That slides into the hand pump, like so. What I figured is from the hand pump, right here on this cardboard, I marked it, this is the face of the hand pump. This little adapter goes right there. Then you have your steering column, and then this is your dash. Now, the steering column needs to be sitting about 9 inches to this point away from the dash. And so what I have to do is I have to figure out how much do I remove of this part, and then I have to take this bearing and move it up and cut the shaft and all that. Now, the other thing I want to do is this comes out of like a Chevy pickup. This is like a steering column vibration dampener, or it's like a, if you don't get it quite lined up, there's a little bit of movement in the cab. This can take a little bit of flex. There's like a rubber piece in there. Yeah, you kind of get it. Reason why I'm thinking about using this is, let's just say if some reason the welding tweaks a little bit, of the hand pump is at a little angle, or I welded the dash a little bit and it tweaked it, and my true shot all the way through wasn't quite true, it's either going to wear out these splines, or it's going to take out the bearings in your steering column, or you might have binding issues. And then let's just say you're coming to a corner and you need to turn, and you can't turn because it bonds up. Bad news. So if I put this in, I should hopefully take care of any binding, wearing, and the other thing too is that hand pump, it's possible you might get vibrations through the steering column if it's a direct drive. So you might be feeling kind of a vibration kind of deal, and if you can get rid of that chattering, that kind of sound, this might be helpful. Will it? I don't know, but it's possible. So I have to figure out from the hand pump to the dash to where the brackets are that bolt to this, or that hold the column, and I got super lucky. I barely fit right here on that first bracket. I should have measured this first. I just kind of, I don't know, wasn't thinking very close, but anyways, you get it? Got it? Lots of talking, figuring out. All right, let's sit down and let's start measuring. Okay, so 8, 8.25. Kind of in a dilemma. This steering column is a little different than the last one that I did. This is kind of an aftermarket brand. I actually can't find it online. I don't know where my dad bought it. But I cannot pull all this apart up here. And for some reason, they have this part down here, which is connected to this up here. It's a little different than what I last did on the other bud. So I was going to pull it all apart, so then I just cut each tube to length. I think I might just chop this right here. Just cut it off. And then I can figure out how to do the rest of it from there, because I'd like to take it all apart, but I don't think I can. I tried to go online to see if there was a diagram for this steering column. I just could not seem to find any information on it. So I'm not smart enough to do it. I'm gonna just cut it. Oh, I don't like doing that because I don't want to screw this up. But I think I'm just gonna do that. Now I'm gonna leave a little extra here so I can trim it back. Haha, that's why I couldn't take it off. I spot welded it on the back side of this. Okay, I'll figure it out. Now, before welding on a steering column, you want to make sure you disconnect all electronics so you don't destroy it. I think we're good. Now let's see if the steering column actually fits in here. What do you guys think? Now I slotted this U-shape to make way for your key ignition rod. I don't know what they call it, but that's what I'm calling it. Something like that. We're a little off on the bottom. Oh, I see why. I can modify that just slightly. But anyways, it's looking pretty good. This is what I came up with. I'm going to get down get down to your level so you can see exactly. All right, this goes in the hand pump. It's got those nice splines. This is my adapter piece that I need to convert to this unit. And then from this unit, I need to convert to the steering column. So I went over and had a scrap steering column out of something that I went and chopped up to get this piece. You can see how it's got a rounded edges on the side, and then it's all machined flat on both sides. That's going to slide inside the steering column in the bud right now. It's the perfect diameter. Then this little piece, kind of cleaned it up a little bit, obviously bolts to here, and then this, I'm going to weld it to that. So this will be on the steering column. I think I'll bolt it to the steering column. I don't know if I'll just leave it in there where it can slide around if it needs to. And then the other steering column that I ripped apart has these splines, and then that's got splines. So I can just put this unit together, and voila. So what I got to do now is I got to convert this piece to this piece. That's what I got to do. Or I just machine this down to slide in here, and then I weld it up. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. So anyways, that's what I've got going on. Guess what just showed up? Something that I need, actually. That is not the steering column. I thought that was a steering column.
That's a tire.
Oh, okay.
Well, you could use it. It's round.
It's wrong.
It's
All
just
right.
that,
Never mind. I thought it was a steering column. I was like, oh, good, yeah.
well, you might get a little tired trying to turn this.
There you go.
That's great.
All right. Huh. Bummer. I was kind of hoping that I'd have a steering column so I can measure off the dash to that steering column to get it to the right distance that I needed to make it. Bummer. All right, well, false alarm. I decided I'm going to machine this down and try to get as much room as possible because I've got about 3 inches to work with. And if I use that one with the splines and weld this on, it's going to be really, really close to the 3 inches. If not, probably won't be able to fit on there. So we're going to cut this down to the right diameter. That is the planio. And then we'll weld it on it. Because that's how I like to roll. I like to make sure that things are done, hopefully, the right way. There we go. Awesome. Love it. It's going to work out really well. So now I just need to find some bolts to put back in here. And then I'm going to cut a chunk of this off because I don't need that much. And we're good to go. Perfect. So this is what I'm talking about. When I say a little bit of chatter, a little bit of movement, this has got the flex that I need. Okay. I am very happy how this turned out. Oh, hi. Hi, Howie. How'd you make it over here, puppy? You run? Oh yeah, he ran. I don't know why. Maybe he chased somebody. But he is super thrilled to be here. And I'm not going to give him attention because that's all he wants. All right. We got ourselves a steering column. There's a slight bit of slop, and it's actually in the steering column. They got a tube that slides over each other inside the column, and I couldn't do anything about it. But that's the slop that I've got right here. It doesn't move down there at that rubber. I mean, you're talking like minute, so. Anyways, I'm happy. It looks good. It turns. That's what we're supposed to be doing. And then next step is something. I'll figure it out. All right, but it looks really good. It's really well centered, and I'm very happy on how that turned out.
All right, well, while leg arms are still working on that cab, I'm gonna grab the case steer and hook onto the back of this thing, open this door up, and I'm gonna drag it outside. And I'm gonna get that pressure washer fired up on steam mode, take all the plugs and covers off all the front hydraulic tanks, as well as the fuel tanks. And I'm just gonna wash for like an hour straight. Just blast everything. Going with air, water. We're gonna throw some magnets in there. We're gonna try to get it as clean as possibly can, so that way it'll be ready for some oil. Okay. I am leg arms. I am leg arms. All right, that's pretty good right there. Gonna fit there? No, I might have to get something else. Yeah, get something else put in there. All right, I think I got it now. Oh, it looks good in the sunlight. I cannot wait to see this thing rolling. I've probably said it a couple times, but I think I got these tanks pretty clean. Put a magnet on an old PEX pipe, drug it up and down the inside a bunch. Had a really strong, I think like 170 pound neodymium magnet that I moved around in there a bunch. Took the pressure washer, blasted everything to one side, vacuumed that side out, magneted it, vacuumed it, then blew everything to the other side. Did that about 5 times. I've got the tractor tip too, so the water flows to that side. Let's take a peek inside as we check inside, see if the camera can go to night mode. There's a little bit of splatter when we were welding. You could see them, but they're stuck. I mean, if you got a chisel and scraped really hard, you might be able to break some of them off, but there's no reason for them to come off because it's just gonna be oil slopping around in here. You'd have to like literally take a hammer and a chisel. So let's see what it looks like down here. Oh yeah. And then this side. And here's the other side. You can see. I know some were concerned with, is there enough space for oil to flow down that? Yeah, that is a concern. I've thought so too, but if you look at how much, I mean, there's an 1.5 inch space underneath those 3-inch lines on the bottom. And that's about 1.5 feet wide or more, almost 2 feet wide. And then you take the very front, and there's a good, what am I looking for here? That's what I'm looking for. There's a good 2 inches in the front of the pipe. So you've got 2 inches all the way down the side, which is like 8 inches tall. Then you've got 1.5 inches all the way across the bottom, which is what? Almost 2 feet. And you add all that up, and then there's like a 1/2 inch on the top of the pipes. There's a lot of area for that oil to flow to the other side. So if it doesn't, if it's slower to flow through there than it's pulling, we'll know right away because this tank is gonna overfill. It'll come out the breather, and then we'll know, uh-oh. And we'll have to probably put another line in somewhere to connect these 2 tanks together to allow more oil to flow to their side. We'll find out. But cavitation shouldn't be a problem. If it is, we know how to use torches and welders. And I've sort of become a good painter lately, so it's just a headache. So next step while this tractor's out is I'm gonna wash the fuel tanks again. I did the first time, I pulled the plugs. Some nasty stuff came out of the bottom of those things. It's been a while though. I see they've been dripping a little bit with the tractor up in the air, but I'm gonna go with the top and I'm just gonna turn it on heat and pressure wash for a while because I think there's some sludge on the bottom still. I'm gonna try to get those fuel tanks as clean as we can. All right, well, it's coming out a lot cleaner. That's good.
Gotcha. Hi. What are you doing? What are you doing? What's going on? What's going on? This is the big bud. It's crazy. That tire is bigger than my dad. My dad's, it's over 6 feet tall. He's the best.